Okay, what I have on the bench today is an interesting little phonograph. It actually is 1978, and this was a talking book phonograph made for the blind. They were actually made for the U.S. government, who gave them out to blind people, and they were very simple to operate. They have these record guides here. So what they would do is they would have actually the record is a little bit bigger. The original records were a little bit bigger than 45, obviously. They would come out and the records would sit on this guide, so they could just slide it down. And when they slid it down, it would line up the record for them and get the spindle lined up. And it was designed to play entire books. It has 3 speeds, the slowest being 8 rotations per minute. And so when they would put the disc on, if it was recorded for 8, they would just slide it over to 8. Everything on here is where they could read it in Braille. And then it would, because it turns so slow, which I'll turn it on and you see, because it turns so slow at 8 rotations per minute, you could get a lot of data on a disc. And so a couple discs, you had an entire book. And so it would recite the book for the blind. But it would also play music. It would play whatever kind of disc you put on it. It has 3 speeds, 8, 16, and 33. So it will play albums, which I'll demonstrate in a minute. Now, these adjusted for different size records. So for a talking book record, this would be where they would set it. They would feel and set the disc and slide it off those rails. They'd bump it up to the rails and then slide it down. And when they slid it down, it'd automatically fall on the center pin. And they didn't have to try to find that. Same with 16. At 16 RPM, there's neutral in between. You know, it turn a little faster. And then 33 RPM. And the 33 and a third RPM is a standard record. I happen to have one here. That's just a generic old record that YouTube won't care that I'm playing. Notice it won't fit. It won't drop down. And that's because the guides are in the wrong place for a 33 record. So they would turn them that way, and you see how it just fits right on with the guides there. And it has a tone control, a volume control, an on-off switch. It also has an automatic shut-off when the arm goes to the end of the record. As you see there, I'm holding it up. It actually shuts off. So they didn't have to worry about you know, the record just running and running and running at the end. They could listen to a book or whatever, and the unit would shut off by itself. And I'll just play a song here. Okay. So here's the volume control. That's the end of the second song. It's going into Spanish Eyes, which is more of a popular song that some of y'all might have heard. And the tone control for bass and treble. Separated to move to whatever location you want. And the other feature it has is a double needle. It actually has 2 diamond needles. The cartridge switches over, but they're both diamond needles. So when one diamond needle would wear out, you could flip it over to the other side, and they were both LP diamond needles. They only play these records, 8, 16, and 33 RPM. So it's not like a 78 LP needle that you flip back and forth. This is actually 2 LP needles, long play needles, which doubles your life of your needles before you have to buy more. And to read books. But it does play music. Okay, so that's the unit there. The condition of the unit, as you can see, the case is in really good condition for a 1978 record player. I didn't find no chips or cracks anywhere. It's got a little bit of stains on it and some little tiny, some light scrapes, you know, but for the age, it's in incredible shape. Normally when you get these, let me shut this off. When you get these, the platter itself, this finish that they put on there that grips the record, is usually totally gone, because it deteriorates with age and with use. But this one is in really good shape. It looks like something might have fell on it there and kind of made a spot, but aside from that, and I haven't cleaned this. I mean, I have dusted it off a little, but I have not really cleaned it. So it's in really good shape. The grip on the platter is still strong. So it's all set there. The controls all work fine. There's no static in the volume or the tone control. The handle is still in good shape, and I'll go ahead and close this. It has a, I don't know if you can see it here, but it has this ridge in here that actually holds the arm down in this locked position. And so when the case is closed, as such, that ridge comes down and locks the arm in place, so you don't have to worry about the arm jumping around. It has slide bolt locks here and here, and they just turn bolt, I'm sorry, and they just turn. And they lock real easy. The levers are nice and tight, which is great. That's what you want. You don't want them flopping around. Has a handle that collapses in there, and it is it feels like real rubber. It doesn't feel like vinyl. It might be vinyl, but it feels like rubber. Nice solid case. In the bottom, they have a compartment that you could put in, you know, extra needles or whatever. And it has the original property of the U.S. government, National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped. It's a 120 volts, 60 hertz, 35 watt system. And it says here that it was manufactured by Interstate Industries, Inc., Mundelein, Illinois, for the National Library Service of the Library of Congress for the Blind and Physically Handicapped. So it was made under contract by Interstate Industries. They made these for the government, for the Library of Congress, and then they were distributed to the blind. Has a compartment here that the cord just folds up into and sits in there. Once you got it all coiled up in there, and you push the plug in, it stays in. It doesn't fall out. So there's no door. There never was a door or anything. It's not like something's missing here. It's just the way it's designed. See, there's still some dust and dirt. Like I said, I hadn't cleaned it. Just dusted it off a little. The hinges are in really good shape on the speaker. Both sides panels are in really good shape. Again, no cracks or scrapes. And the speaker detaches. The way it detaches is you lift the cover slightly, not all the way, and you pull it to the right, and it comes off. And you have plenty of speaker wire in here that you can just pull out and set the speaker wherever you like. I have purchased the needle, a new needle for it, a new old stock needle from eBay, and that is what is currently installed on it. So it has 2 brand new needles. And that's the unit. It also has a headphone jack. The only issue I found with it, it has 3 rubber seat, and the 4th one is missing. So these are just, you know, little rubber feet that are glued on. I'm sure another one or something similar could be glued on here to balance it, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on it. At least not on my bench, but it's padded, so. But anyway, that's the unit, and thank you for looking at my video.